Welcome back to Book Daddies, everybody. I'm Adam,
I'm Austin.
and today we are going to be, or rather, this episode, we're going to be talking about Red Rising.
Red Rising. Pierce Brown. Great guy.
Yeah, he's a handsome guy,
He's
too.
hot.
Yeah.
Dude, my wife and I talk about all the time how he's too hot to be
An
a
author.
sci-fi author.
Yeah, right?
Like, yeah, did you... Okay, I mean, I didn't want to start throwing shade at, like, not hot authors, but, like, you know, I'm not going to name names, but, like, you
No.
look at, like, some best-selling science fiction authors,
you
and
can look
it's
at
like...
just about any science fiction, fantasy, or even
Oh,
like
man.
horror author, and then you look at Pierce Brown and you're like,
He's
damn,
a handsome
can I
fellow.
take you out to dinner?
He's really raising that bar that we can't reach. Yeah, look him up. He's good looking.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this was going to turn into a thirst episode over
Yeah.
Pierce Brown. My wife loves him. Never read anything by him.
But he's hot. I
Yeah.
should show him to Kelly, see what she thinks.
If you also agree that Pierce Brown is one
Hunk of a man,
book daddy,
if you will.
yeah, then go ahead, like and subscribe, because this is going to be a really fun episode.
And if you disagree, let us know why in the comments.
Still like and subscribe.
Yeah, let's get into this, man. This is a great book.
Yeah, it is. And it's, from what I understand, it's only up from here. We've only read the first book.
Right.
I've heard every book after this is just better and better and better.
That's what I've heard too.
Which is good news, because this first book's really good.
It really is. I mean, the beginning of it, without getting too much into spoilers, I mean, is just kind of insane.
Heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking. Yeah.
Tears your heart out.
Yeah.
Throws it on the ground. Grinds it into the dust. It's terrible.
And then it's picked back up to do over and over again later on.
That's true. That's true. And the whole book has this whole undertone of just like deep, depressing hatred
For
Right.
oligarchy.
for oligarchy, right? Because to give you a quick idea of what this book is about, this is a sci-fi novel in which society is broken up into different like levels, and they're based on colors, right? So red being the bottom, these are kind of like the lowest of the low, almost to the level of like slaves, as far as like kind of the vibe it's going for.
Absolutely.
All the way up to the golds, right?
But like it's built in a way that like these slaves, you know, the reds, the lowest of the low, are told that they can work their way up in society.
Kind of the
That
false
one
hope.
day they will inherit the surface of Mars, because as of right now they're living below the surface of Mars, and they're basically these miners, and they're told that. And Darrow, the main character, quickly realizes that is just not true, because the surface of Mars has been cultivated and thriving for hundreds of years.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you see this a lot in a lot of different fantasy, science fiction, dystopian novels. You give people hope that they can rise to keep them subjected, and then they never rise, and they're always in your control.
Yeah, it's like almost like how late stage capitalism works.
Right. Not to say if you work hard, there aren't benefits, right? But this idea of the American dream, I mean, it's an argument, right, today. Is the American dream even still alive? Can anyone come to America and work their butt off and achieve what they want?
Sure.
Maybe.
This book is incredibly political. And if you think it's not, go back to history class, you child.
Yeah, or just like reread it with a new lens, right? Because almost every book can be political.
Every book is political.
You can read a book just for like pure entertainment, or you can read it for the deeper message, but pretty much everything has some political message.
That's true.
Have you seen the video where it's like, here's my interpretation of conservatives watching Star Wars?
Oh, yeah.
Wow, explosions. Cool lightsabers.
Yeah. I've seen that.
Yeah, but like everything, like Star Wars has like a deeply political message.
Sure.
This book has a deeply political message.
Absolutely, it does. And I one of my favorite like passages in my favorite book, It by Stephen King, Bill Denbrough talks about how to his writing professor, can't a story just be a story? And when I was younger, and when I first read that, and also when I was first starting out as a writer, I thought about that a lot. I was like, can't my story just be a story? As I've grown, and you know this from my current project, A Vision of Truth.
Yeah.
As I've grown as a writer, I don't know that a story can just be a story. It can be for the reader, but for the writer and the messages that they want to produce and make you think about, like I don't know that a story can just be a story.
Yeah.
In many, many senses anymore.
And I'm thinking, so I have 2 young children and I read them books every day, and even children's books.
Oh yeah, they have messages.
Have deep messages,
Yeah.
right? And if it doesn't,
we could even just say that like it doesn't even necessarily need to be political,
right?
But it could be about morals. It could be about like what you're trying to get from it personally as the reader, or what the writer is trying to say about life. Like forget the politics. Books are meant to like replicate life and what we can do about life and what we do in our lives.
Absolutely. And they're supposed to teach us, right? Even if it's not like a nonfiction book, like a self-help book, like these books, oh man, I'm not going to do this justice, but I just saw this video that was so insightful. I wonder if you saw it on my story. They were talking about how like, oh, some people say that fiction, it's all fake, right? And it has nothing to do with the real world. And she's like, I would argue that fiction is deeply concerned with truth.
Absolutely.
And with what is going on in the real world.
Yep.
And that when you read these books, like you start by viewing these characters as like other, right? And not real. But the more you read and the more you learn to empathize and become the characters, all of a sudden it's like, that's not them. That is me. Right. And what was in the book that is make believe,
right,
all of a sudden becomes part of your identity.
Yeah.
And it's concerned with truth.
Yeah. It kind of comes back to that conversation about, if it's a mirror, window, or a door that you were mentioning a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But also, the book is called Red Rising, and the main weapon that Darrow uses is a sickle.
Which is dope.
It is dope. But I'm just talking about the political aspects of that. Yeah.
God, like communism and whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So there's that pickle to chew on.
Symbolism.
That's not a saying.
What?
That's not a saying. I said there's that.
No, I said symbolism.
No. What I said.
A pickle to chew on.
Yeah,
we can make it a saying.
No, yeah. I'm just gonna start making up shit.
Yeah, deeply political message in this book, but besides that,
let's get back more to the story.
This is just a really interesting book. A lot of people compare it to like Hunger Games in space. It's like a sci-fi Hunger Games.
Well, it's not only a sci-fi Hunger Games, it's also like 5 times more violent and tragic.
Oh yeah,
than Hunger Games, because like what happens in the Hunger Games is really tragic, and I love the Hunger Games as much as the next person, but this takes it to a whole nother level.
This book is the only book in recent memory that's made me cry.
Really? I mean, like this book definitely made me cry, but I also cry a lot more.
There's a moment in this book
from different books.
No, that's fair. That's fair. But there's a moment in this book, maybe about, I want to say it's like maybe 2/3 of the way through, where Darrow does something that is such a tremendous example of leadership that Trevor's over here going like, yes, oh, yeah. I teared up and I was like, I will follow you into battle, Darrow. I will do anything you ask me. Like, I was like, Darrow's the guy.
That is not the scene that made me cry.
Really?
But,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got to read the book. Read the book. Find out what we're talking about.
Yeah.
What's he made you cry? Like, it's so vague. Let's try and figure it out.
The scene where Darrow's friend finds out and he confronts him.
Yeah.
That's probably as vague as I can make it.
No, I know what you're talking about. That is a very emotional scene. This book was so impressive. One thing about this book that I really loved was the theme. Not everybody you suspected to be bad is always bad, right? That sometimes you need to let go of your prejudices to recognize that there is good in unexpected places.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really, really phenomenal theme throughout this whole book.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's an important aspect of life to remember, that just because you lean one way or another doesn't mean you're a bad person.
So true. I mean,
there's a lot of grays. There is also plain and simple evil in the world, just like there's plain and simple good in the world.
True.
But there's also a lot of gray.
It's so easy, especially I mean here in the United States with our political landscape going on right now. It's so easy just to look at someone on the other side and just assume that they're terrible or assume that they, wish you ill.
Right.
When in reality, they're probably a lot more level-headed than you realize and are probably a lot more willing to have conversation than you realize. When all this happens on the internet,
Right.
man, for everything framed in the internet's just this huge echo chamber
Yeah.
of hate and bigotry and single-mindedness. And I think this book does a really good example of showing that that's not necessarily true.
Mm-hmm.
Are you excited to read book 2?
I'm excited. Yeah.
I've
super
heard
stoked.
Golden Sun is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Mwah, chef's
Yeah.
kiss. Jack did that the other day.
Oh,
did
did
I
he?
tell you,
No.
dude? Okay, my son Jack, we got these little like mini pizza kits from Pillsbury and we made little pizzas.
Yeah.
And then when it was done, he held it up on a plate and he goes, "Mwah, bon appetit." He's 5. And I was like,
funny.
that's hilarious. And I knew my wife was almost home. I was like, Jack, just stand here and like be ready to do that to mom. And he did that right when she walked in the door and she thought it was so funny.
Yeah.
Anyway,
cute,
this
dude.
book, Chef's Kiss.
Chef's Kiss. Bon appetit.
It was really, really good. I genuinely would give this an oh yeah out of 5.
Yeah. I will
I
too.
think
Yeah.
it was good. And that's only the beginning. Next book,
Yeah.
I heard it's better.
Trevor says he'd give it a 3.
Is that actually what he said? Oh. What is your rating?
Oh, was this an okay, not a 3? It's okay.
It's okay.
Which is like a 3 anyway. Well, so like the way that I count, I got into the habit of doing this, and so like when I hold up like 3,
On
Yeah.
one of my
Dude, that's weird. You count like this, pinky first?
Yeah.
That's psychotic.
it's I learned about it when I was in junior high. That's how like Germans count.
But like you could do it with your thumb first.
Oh no,
That way
yeah.
that makes way more sense. Start with your pinky.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. No, sorry, I'm getting confused. So just, like I start with my thumb, but when I like hold up a number, like I do 3.
Instead of that.
Yeah. I do
All right,
3.
guys, tell us.
Like we need 3.
is
is
this
this right?
3
Or
Or is this
3?
right?
Or
or is this right?
Anyway, anyway, so you give it a 3.
I think if I were to give it a rating, a 6.
Books are out of 5, buddy.
Oh, out of 5. Okay, I would give it a.
So that's like a 3.
No.
4.
Well, a 3 out of 5 would be a 6 out of 10.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah.
math.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I would go lower is because sometimes it was hard for me to keep straight the families.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Uh,
There's that.
Which
there's
if
a lot.
if you're not really used to reading like sci-fi or fantasy, sometimes that can be hard because that's like a staple of sci-fi and fantasy. There's all these different words and families and lineages that you kind of got to keep track. And George R. R. Martin is like
Notorious.
worst.
Yeah.
Like it's so hard. I've read that book a couple times, the first book a couple times now, and every time I have to like pause, be like, okay, which Stark family? There's actually a couple of them, and like, are they they're related to each other somehow? And so I have to like go and like look at the lineage.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
I had-
that makes sense that would be confusing. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
agree.
great
Give 'em-
book. Stay tuned. We're gonna be reading the sequels pretty soon.
Yeah, we're gonna be starting we're gonna be reviewing Golden Sun in May.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, we actually started The Devils by Joe Abercrombie, which I don't have the jacket on, and Austin got mad at me about that. But that's because without the jacket, it's just so
It's
cool.
a
Like you don't see
beautiful
this a lot,
cover.
and I usually don't take my jackets off, but I like this book naked. Yeah. But I wanted to bring this up really quick because we want to invite you guys to read The Devils with us. If you haven't read it, we will be reviewing this at the end of April. So just like be a part of the conversation, like read along with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we'll be talking about that in, like I said, the end of April. We'll be touching on Golden Sun at the end of May, and we'll just kind of keep going from there. I think
Yeah.
we'll be doing Morningstar. Morningstar right after
Yeah.
that as well.
And hopefully we got some more giveaways coming soon. If you can help us get to those benchmarks, then we can do some more giveaways.
Absolutely.
So like, subscribe, comment. These are all metrics that are going to help us be able to give you guys more books and also just interact with you. It's fun.
Right.
What do you want to
Oh,
read?
yeah.
Tell us if you have a book that you would like to see us read and review, drop it in the comments below. We are open to anything.
One last thing that I want to mention. This is slightly spoilery, so I won't. I will do my best. But at the end, the reveal about Darrow's love interest,
Yep.
like holy crap, I did not see that coming, and I was just like,
Yep.
what is going on? But then also too, I had so much faith in her that I was like, it's gonna be okay.
It's gonna be all right.
I don't know how you guys felt about that point, but
Yeah.
were you like worried?
No.
Cool.
We'll see though. Golden Sun.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll find out.
There's still time.
There's still time.
Alrighty.
Oh yeah.
He's still going. Out of breath.
Yeah.